श्रीगणेशाय नमः। श्रीसरस्वत्यै नमः। श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पाद शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयत्यखिलशक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना अन्यांशहस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान् नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यम्। शुक्लाम्बरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। We have been seeing overview of stotras, and we started with introduction, then we saw overview of Ramaraksha Stotra, and then Hanuman Chalisa. Taking a quick recap, why should I pray or why should I chant stotra? Upasana. These are the means of upasana, and these are the means by which I can get Saguna Brahma Sakshatkara and in the end Nirguna Brahma Sakshatkara, Nirguna Brahma Jnana. These are the best possible means. Why are they written? The purpose, Anubandha Chatushtaya, that we analyzed, and what type of relation I have with Bhagavan. Am I Artha? Am I Jidnyasu? Am I Artharthi or am I Jnani? Based on these, Artha, Jidnyasu, Artharthi, Jnani, to everyone's need, the prayers are catered to. Whoever needs a type of prayer, that will be included in that. Some stotra may be predominantly for those who are Artha, and some stotra may be predominantly those who are Jnani. It can be arranged, or everything will be included in one stotra itself. But doing all these, or whenever I am doing this upasana or meditation, in the definition of upasana, we saw one important part, that was according to Shastra, according to as it has been explained in Shastra. It should not be my own imagination. And that applies to when I am understanding or when I am going through any stotra, shloka also. With this purpose, with this idea alone in mind, for invocation, I took this particular verse, Shuklam Baradharam Vishnu. Why? Because now we are going to see 1000 names of Vishnu, Vishnu Sahasranama. Whenever we are looking at these names, because all these names have been used widely in our colloquial languages, in our day-to-day lives, we have got so much accustomed to them that some words have got certain meaning which have got stuck to them, and we fail to realize the real meaning behind them. And now a person out of context can take up any word, think about it, and say that this alone is the meaning and intended meaning. For which, let me give you the example with the earlier verse, Shuklam Baradharam Vishnu. Actually, this verse is verse created by a food critic. Food critic, the one who likes to eat food, the one who describes food, etc. How do you know? Simple. Shukla Ambaradhara, the one who is wearing a white cloth. What is that thing which is dipped in white thing? That is dahi bonda. It is dipped in curd, which is white in color. So when you take it out, when you look at it, it is wearing white cloth. Shuklam Baradharam. Vishnu Vyapaka. It is everywhere. It has absorbed all the essence of curd, and the curd also has absorbed all the essence of that bonda, vada. So it is Vyapaka. Vyapakatvat Vishnu. Shashivarnam. It has the color of moon because of the curd, and not just that, when it is fried it gets porous, so it has those marks that the moon has. Shashivarnam, Chaturbhujam. How much ever skillful you are, it will have arms growing out. So it has 4 arms. Chaturbhuja, many arms. And Prasanna Vadanam Dhyayet. When you look at it, how do you feel? Sarva Vignopashante. Now, how will you correlate this thing? If you are wise enough, you can give reasoning for each and every question. All difficulties, they come back again and again, accepted, fine. But what is that one trouble, one problem which comes to us not just every day but 2 times a day? Hunger. Sarva Vignopashante. So what is that vigna, what is that trouble which comes to us every day all the time? Hunger. To satisfy hunger, what you need to do? Eat dahi bonda. That's what is the description in Shuklambaradharam Vishnu. This should not be the way of thinking when we take. So, this is what we need to avoid whenever we are thinking of Bhagwan's names. So, coming back to Vishnu Sahasranama. 1000 names of Bhagwan Vishnu. Sometimes I wonder, as if one word was not enough for us, Rishi Munis thought of giving 1000 names for us to think. It reminds me of school days where one mathematical sum or equation is taught in class. But for homework, how many questions are given? So only one name is given, and now imagine, meditate upon these 1000 names. You started with one word, Rama, but ended up with 1000 names. When it was said Sahasranama Tattulyam, it was to glorify that one name so that you get prompted, you get inquisitive, inquire towards that one name. But all these names have similar meaning, intention and understanding. So 1000 names of Bhagwan Vishnu. Why 1000 names? Because it will cater to each and every person's need, what he desires, what form of Bhagwan he has in his own heart, and taking that form, taking that liking, the name has been given so that he can meditate on that same Devata and gain that same result. If somebody is Bhakta of that small form of Bhagwan Krishna, then the word Krishna is good. The Krishna, that Laddu Gopal, we say Bala Krishna, he will get attracted by that name alone. But for someone, no, it will be Narayana, or it will be Shankha Chakra Gadadhara, Sharn Gadandva Gadadhara, Vishnu's form. It can be varied. That's why all these 1000 names have been included. If you look at this Vishnu Sahasranama Stotra in particular, it is very interesting in a sense. Each name can be used for Upasana, at the same time each name can be used for Nididhyasana also. We had seen the difference between Upasana and Nididhyasana. Upasana is Purusha Tantra, Nididhyasana is Vastu Tantra. Upasana has liberty of the in liberty with person who is doing Upasana. He can meditate, he can use that as per his liking. But in Nididhyasana, because it is related to Jnana, it should be as it has been told. But these examples, when we actually go into Vishnu Sahasranama, we will see. But that is the beauty of this stotra. So before we inquire, before we begin with the actual inquiry, let us understand the situation in which this Vishnu Sahasranama was taught or given. After whole Mahabharata war was over, Uttara Kriya, all oblations were given to all those who had deceased. And one day, when Yudhishthira was sitting on his throne, he realized what all he has done. And the grief that Arjuna had before war, same Yudhishthira had after the war. Now Yudhishthira started complaining, if I have committed such a mistake, if I have committed such heinous crime, now this is Yudhishthira's thinking, what should I do? There is no point in ruling. Why should I keep this kingdom? I must go away, I must drop this. And when in this thinking he was, many Rishimuni or many people who were there in his court tried to console him. He did not listen to anyone. Krishna came to know about Yudhishthira's plight, what Yudhishthira was going through. So Krishna came, he asked, Krishna understood that it is not a problem that I can solve. There is only one person he looks up to whom. Only Bhishma can give answers to him. And Krishna knew that Bhishma has been waiting for me in Kurukshetra, at that place of war, on that battlefield. He is still there. He is waiting for me. And I must also go meet him, meet my Bhakta, another Bhakta, and give him Sadgati. I must make sure that he goes on his next path. Let us stop this story here, otherwise it will be the story of Bhishma rather than Vishnu Sahasranama. But to understand, because to understand from whom these words have come, understand Bhishma was lying on the bed of arrow, and the description is Natasyasid anirbhinnam gatre dvyangulam. There were so many arrows pierced through his body that there were not even enough space to put two fingers in between. Understand, that was the state in which Bhishma was. And when they went there and met, Bhishma said, I have lost all my strength, I cannot teach. Now Bhagwan, you alone can do. Then Bhagwan gave him strength to speak. Yudhishthira asked different questions to Bhagwan Bhishma. Yudhishthira asked different questions. Bhishma answered all the questions. There were Raja Dharma, Moksha Dharma, many things were taught. There is a whole dialogue. And after that was over, Yudhishthira asked one question. That is the first verse that we usually chant in Vishnu Sahasranama. What happened is, Yudhishthira, after asking all questions, he again approached Bhishma Pitamaha and he said, Bhishma ji, I still have one question in my mind. Bhishma said, what is it? Vaishampayana describes the situation. Shrutva dharmana sheshena pavanani cha sarvashah Yudhishthira shantanavam punareva abhyabhashat. Punaha eva abhyabhashat. He asked again, after having listened to all the teaching. Sometimes I really wonder how people come up with these beautiful words at appropriate moments. Of course, when I am seeing people, I should not even question, because this has been originally composed by Veda Vyasaji. But the word that has been used here for Bhagwan Bhishma is Shantanavam. Keeping aside all its vyutpatti, Shantanavam, Shantanoho apatyam puman. Shantanu, his father, its son, that's why Shantanavam. But if you just look at the word itself, Shantanavam, Nava, new, Shanta, quietened. The one who has been quietened newly. Now because he has done all his duties, whatever that was left to be taught to Yudhishthira, that also has been done, and he is at peace. This meaning, this feeling gets created in our heart when we listen to the word Shantanavam, a peaceful. And Bhishma, who was at peace, is now going to answer. That's why such Bhishma was asked by Yudhishthira. And then Yudhishthira asked, किमेकं देवतं लोके किं वाप्येकं परायणं स्तुवन्तः कं कमर्चन्तः प्राप्नुयुर्मानवाः शुभम् को धर्मः सर्वधर्माणां धर्मोऽधिकतमो मतः किं जपन्मुच्यते जन्तुर्जन्म संसार बन्धनात्. 6 questions were asked. किमेकं देवतं लोके, एकम देवतं लोके किम, who is the greatest Lord, Ishvara, in the world? Who is that one? Ekam. I just want to know about that. Kim vapyekam parayanam. Ekam parayanam kim. Who is the one refuge? Who is that one refuge for all? Stuvantah kam kam archanta prapnuyur manava shubham. You can separate these two, stuvantam and kim archantam. Stuvantam, by glorifying whom, by praying to whom, one can reach the shubham, auspiciousness. And what is shubham? Moksham eva shubham. Moksha is shubha. By praying to whom one can gain moksha, and kam archantam prapnuyur manava shubham. By worshipping whom can man reach peace, prosperity, auspiciousness. Then ko dharmas sarva dharmanam bhavatah paramo matah. Which is, in your opinion, is the greatest dharma? And the last question was, Kim japan muchyate jantur janma sansara bandhanat. By doing japa of what? All jivas gain liberation from this bandhana, this samsara. These were the 6 questions. Here, one must understand the importance of asking questions also. After everything has been taught, Yudhishthira did not ask Bhishma, Bhishma ji, you have that beautiful idol of Krishna. Can I get that after you pass away? No worldly matters. In that opportune moment, at that important time, now the time is quickly moving forward. You don't have much time available. You have to ask appropriate questions, and choosing those questions, phrasing them perfectly is very much important. When we were learning, our Acharyaji, he used to remind us, when there used to be, every day there used to be a time where he used to solve difficulties and answer our questions. Many times he used to remind us, learn to phrase your questions perfectly. That shows that you have thought upon those questions, you have pondered upon them, and then you are asking those questions. Usually what happens is, in such situations, a question is asked either without even thinking about it oneself, or to show that I can ask difficult questions. If it is this latter, there is no use in asking question, and if it is the first one, there is no use in asking question, because even when the answer is given, if we have not thought about that question ourselves, how are we going to understand that the answer that which has been given to us? That's why we need to ponder, we need to think upon the question which we want to ask, we try to ask, and once that phrasing is perfect, it's right, we should ask. If required, then ask follow-up question. But it should not be that the question is 5 minutes long and the answer is 2 sentences short. It should be appropriate, perfect. And when these questions were asked, for each and every question, Bhishma answered each question perfectly. Let us quickly again go through all questions. Kimekam Devatam. Who is that one Devata? Devata is the one who illumines my Indriya or entire world. Who is that one Ishvara, one Devata? I don't want to know about many. I just want to know about that one. What more do you want to know? Kim vapyekam parayanam. Asmin loke ekam parayanancha kim. Which is that praptavya sthanam, which is that refuge which should be sought by everyone. Now understand, when we are going to go through these 6 questions and when the answer is given to us, we will understand all this is in Vishnu Sahasranama. Why do I chant Vishnu Sahasranama? Why should I chant Vishnu Sahasranama? Because by chanting this, what I am going to gain is the refuge of all. Kimekam praptavyam sthanam kim vapyekam parayanam. I want to know by taking refuge, by surrendering to whom I don't want to go anywhere, I don't need to go anywhere. Just one thing. It should not be like the Takshaka taking the refuge of Indra. During Bhagavata, when that Sarpa Satra it started, because King Parikshit, he was killed by the snake bite. His son Janamejaya, he started Yajna, in which he started oblations, and all snakes, they were invoked, the snake would appear and he would get burned in that Yajna fire. Now this started, Takshaka got scared, because when his name is going to be chanted, when his name is going to be taken, he will be taken there and he is going to die. So he took the support of Indra. When Takshaka's name was chanted, Takshaka's name was taken, he did not appear, so Janamejaya, he inquired, he asked, he said no, he has taken the support of Indra. He said, okay, no worries. Let us invoke Indra. And when the Indra's name was invoked, Indra himself got involved. Then his throne it started shaking. Then others came, they stopped Janamejaya from doing such foolish thing. The story continues. But the thing is, Takshaka took support, took shelter of Indra, but Indra himself had not his firm place. He himself was dependent on someone else for support. So I want to know that refuge, that abode, by taking refuge, by taking support of whom or where. I don't need to take support anywhere. Then the third question is, Stuvantam kam archanta prapnayur manava shubham. 2 questions in one thing. Glorifying whom can a man reach auspiciousness? Kam katamam devam stuvantaha gunasankirtanam kurvantaha. By glorifying, by doing stuti of which devata I will gain the auspicious names, or by doing the puja of whom, by doing the worship of whom will I get all that is auspicious. And what is all auspicious? Only Bhagavan. Not just that, Bhishmaji, I want to know. Now, of course, Yudhishthira will not say Bhishmaji because he is Pitamaha, granddad, but for the sake of our ease, let us say Bhishmaji. So he asks again Bhishma, Ko dharmas sarva dharmanam dharmodhikatamo mataha. In your opinion, which is the greatest of dharma? Because Bhishma was known as Dharmanya. He knew dharma inside out. Of course, Bhishma could not beat Krishna because Krishna is dharma in form. But anyways, Bhishma was adored by, worshipped by everyone. So Yudhishthira did not want to lose an opportunity to gain that knowledge. That's why he asked, Ko dharma sarva dharmanam bhavatah paramamataha. A very beautiful phrasing. I will come to that phrasing later because I have said few other things to relate to it later. Kim japan muchyate jantur janma samsara bandhanat, simply asked by chanting what or by doing the japa of whom or what a person gets liberated from samsara. Coming back to this earlier question, bhavatah paramamataha. If you see Bhagavad Gita, at many places Bhagwan has said, me matam. This is my mata, this is my opinion, this is what I understand, this is my understanding, this is what I want to say. When Bhagwan says this, it is his final words, this is what we should understand also. Even though different meanings, different variations will be available, it might be my understanding, but this is what actually Bhagwan is trying to say. That's what is Bhagwan is saying when he says, me matam. Yudhishthira is asking in the same way, what is your opinion? What do you understand? Because I know whatever that you are going to say is the ultimate truth. And why Yudhishthira had this firm conviction? Because that belief was strengthened when Yudhishthira and Krishna, they had dialogue before meeting Bhagwan Bhishma. Bhagwan Bhishma, when he was lying, and when Krishna said to Yudhishthira that we need to go to Kurukshetra, the battlefield, and meet someone who is lying there waiting for me. You know that person. And he is Bhishma. And we must go to him because his time of passing has come. And when Bhishma is going to pass away, कर्मभिस्वैर दिवंगते, कर्मभिस्वैर दिवंगते भविष्यति मही पार्थ नष्टचंद्रेव शर्वरी. The second line is more important. Bhavishyati mahi partha nashta chandreva sharvari. Partha, not Arjuna, but Yudhishthira. Yudhishthira, we need to go there and meet and talk with Bhagwan Bhishma. Why? Because when he passes away, after he has passed, after he has dropped his mortal coil and he goes to Swarga, this earth will become like a moonless night on the night of Purnima. Because he is such a knowledgeable person, because of him, the earth is getting adorned. When Bhishma passes away, it will be like a night without a moon. That's why you must go to him and learn as much as you can in the time that we have at hand. And when he knew, Yudhishthira understood this, he asked, Bhavatah Paramomatah. Now imagine, when we understand this, how much impact it has when we know that Bhagwan Bhishma taught Vishnu Sahasranama to Yudhishthira. That is the importance of Vishnu Sahasranama. So coming back to the 6 answers. Bhishma Uttaramavacha. Bhishma started answering questions. Now, Yudhishthira answered questions one after the other. But answers that were given are not in the exact sequence of the questions. And it is always the duty of Guru or the one who is teaching to answer the questions in the right order of the answers, not the right order of the questions. So that the meaning and the artha, whatever that the teaching becomes clear, which is very much evident in Viveka Chudamani. Viveka Chudamani has 7 questions, and all are answered, but the order is in the way in which teaching should be, not in the sequence of the questions itself. So Bhishma started answering. Jagat Prabhum Devadevam Anantam Purushottamam Stuvannama Sahasrena Purushas Satatothitaha. Jagat Prabhum, the Prabhu, the Devata who is of this entire creation. Purushottamam, the one who is Purushottama, Uttama Purusha. Stuvan Nama Sahasrena, by Stuvan, the third question. Stuvantam Kankamarchanta Prapnuyar Manava Shubham. Stuvan Nama Sahasrena, when you glorify him with these 1,000 names, Purusha Satatothitaha, Purusha, the one who is endless, Satatothitaha. Now, with the next verse, he is completing the question with the fourth question also. Tamevacha archayan nityam bhaktya purushamavyayah dhyayan stuvan namasyansha yajamanas tamevacha. Tamevacha archayan, the one who is Jagat Prabhu, Devadeva, Tameva archayan, worshipping that Avyaya Avinashi Purusha alone. Dhyayan, doing dhyana, upasana or nididhyasana. Stuvan, glorifying. Naman, prostrating, doing namaskara. Yajamanas tamevacha. Yajamana, not Yajamana as in host, but Yaja, Yajna, Puja. The one who is doing the puja, Yajamanaha. Tamevacha, Tameva Devatam. When that's Yajamana, the one who is doing puja, worships, glorifies that Jagat Prabhu, that Devata, the one who is the Lord of all, he will gain whatever that he desires. Anadi Nidhanam. Now he comes back to the third question. Anadi Nidhanam Vishnum Sarvaloka Maheshwaram Lokadhyaksham Stuvan Nityam Sarva Dukkhati Go Bhavet. What is the final product? What do I gain? Sarva Dukkhati Go Bhavet. I will become free from all my sorrows. Anadi Nidhanam. Now, if we really want to go in detail, each and every word here is very much important. But I want to go into Vishnu Sahasranama also and take few words for discussion over there, from there also. But anyways, Anadi Nidhana. Anadi na Adi. That which does not have beginning. Nidhana. End. That which does not have beginning or end. The one who is eternal. The one who is devoid of 6 vikara. Jayate, asti, vardhate, viparanamate, apakshiyate, vinashyati. The one who is without any birth, the one who is without any death, the one who does not have inherent changes, the one who does not grow, the one who does not decay, and the one who does not perish. The one who eternally is. That Anadi Nidhanam. By doing the stuti, namaskara of him, the one who is Vishnu, Vyapaka, all pervading, Sarvaloka Maheshwara, the one who is the Niyanta, the controller of everything, Loka Adhyaksham, the one who is the Loka Adhyaksha, Adhyaksha, the protector, the ordainer of all Loka, all worlds. Stuvan, by glorifying him, Sarva Dukkhati Go Bhavet. Yajamanaha from earlier verse, Sarva Dukkhati Go Bhavet. He wins over, he destroys all his sorrows. Sarva Dukkhati Gaha. Again, that alone has been said further. ब्रह्मण्यम सर्वधर्मण्यम लोकानां कीर्तिवर्धनम लोकनाथम महद्भूतम सर्वभूत भवोत्तमम. Again, all the adjectives, visheshanas for that same devata for Vishnu, Bhagwan, Narayana have been given. Brahmanyam, the one who is the creator of all, starting from Brahmaji, for everyone. Sarvadharmanyam, Sarvadharmanyam, the one who knows all dharma. Lokanam Kirtivardhanam, the one who increases the kirti, yasha, glory of people by entering into them by himself. That's why in Vibhuti Yoga, we had seen, I have explained to you all my Vibhutis in essence. Yadyad vibhuti mat sattvam shrimadurjitam mevava tam tamevava. Yadyad vibhuti mat sattvam shrimadurjitam mevava. Anyway, let us skip to this one. That this is the glory. Whatever that you see as beautiful, as greatest, it is nothing but my vibhuti, my glory. It is because of me being there. That is the glory. That is the Purushartha. That's how Kirtivardhanam, Lokanam Kirtivardhanam. That's how the Kirti, glory of people, Loka, is increased. Lokanatham, the one who is the Natha, the one ordainer, controller of all people. Loka as in people or all worlds. Mahat Bhutam, Mahat Bhuta Paramartha Satyam. Mahat, greatest. Bhuta, that which is existing. The greatest of the truth. Sarva Bhuta Bhavodbhavam. Sarva Bhutanam Bhavaha Samsaraha. Sarva Bhuta Bhavaha. Yat Sakashat Udbhavati iti sa Sarva Bhuta Bhavodbhavam. This samsara is born from whom? That is Sarva Bhuta Bhava Udbhava. Sarva Bhuta, all Jiva. Sarva Bhuta Bhava, samsara of Jiva. Sarva Bhuta Bhava Udbhava. Udbhava, the origin. The one who is the origin of this entire samsara, he. Now, the fifth question. What is that dharma? It is answered, Esha me sarva dharmanam dharmodhikatamo matah yad bhaktya pundarikaksham stavairarchen narastada. What is dharma? Sarvesham chodana lakshano dharma. The one which prompts you to do certain activity, that is dharma. That is the one aspect. Now, this is the definition which is given in Purvamimamsa. Whatever that prompts you by doing certain karma, doing certain activity, that is dharma, which has been given by Veda. So, Vedic injunctions, that alone is dharma. But better than that, there is another dharma which I believe is the better one. Esha me sarva dharmanam adhikaha dharmaha me mataha. Esha, this. Sarva dharmanam adhikatamo dharmaha. Adhikatama, tama is the superlative degree. This is the best among all dharmas that I know, and this is my opinion. What is it? What is that? Yad bhaktya pundarikaksham stavairarchen narasada. Before we go into this discussion, let me give you the overview. Why this is important? Now look here, understand. When we jump to upasana or karma, anything, what we need to understand is why those have been prescribed and given to us. In 2-3 places, Bhagwan Bhashyakara has stated in his Bhashya, he says that left to us, left to Jiva, they will act exactly opposite to that of Shastra, स्वाभाविक्या तो शास्त्रीयया प्रवृत्त्या, स्वाभाविक्या तु अशास्त्रीयया प्रवृत्त्या. It is our tendency to behave like animals against Shastra because we are driven by Swartha, self-interest, and that's why we will not act according to Shastra. Why do we not act according to Shastra? Because there are objects of desire that we want to gain. So what Shastra did is, okay, what is it that you want? What is it that you are seeking? I am seeking happiness. But are you ready to take away someone's happiness for your happiness? Why not? But do you know, by doing such thing, you are asking for much greater sorrow when you drop this body? No, I did not know that. That's why we are telling you, do one thing. Rather than seeking a small happiness in very small quantity here, let me give you some things by which not only you will get happiness in this world, but much greater happiness in the later worlds, that is in Swarga. So by taking our desire for happiness, etc., and our tendency to do karma, what Shastra did was, Shastra has given us injunctions. Do this, do that, do this yajna, do this puja, do this upasana. And by doing such thing, by doing so and so, you will go to Swarga or higher worlds. And by going there, you will gain much sukha, much better happiness. And after experiencing, after going through that happiness, after enjoying those worlds, you will come back, then go on repeating. But at least you will avoid Narakadika Loka, lower worlds. You will avoid lower births. So to change our tendency from animalistic tendency to better one, Shastra has given us karma. That is the main reason why the injunctions have been given. After which one realizes that even though I am pursuing happiness, this is not sufficient, this is endless, and person starts increasing or generating vairagya in his heart, then the upasana and the jnana is given. Okay, now that you have understood that this is endless cycle, you want to get liberated, then let me give you the other option. What is there, the another solution? This is the answer. That's how is the progression of teaching of Shastra. That's why sarva dharmanam adhikatamo dharma, when it is said, rather than not following dharma, what is the appropriate dharma? Act according to Shastra, act according to Vedic injunctions. But if you ask me, because what is the question? Ko dharma sarva dharmanam bhavatah paramo mata. What is the greatest of the dharma? Bhishma says, yes, acting according to the dharma, according to Vedic injunctions, is the best, but I know something which is much more better than that, which is yad bhaktya pundarikaksham stavairarche narasadaha sada. Yad bhaktya tatparyena pundarikaksham hridaya pundarike prakashamanam vasudevam. Tatparyena, the one who worships, the one who is seated in one's heart. Now, if I anatomically see in my heart, you will not find him, because we are not Hanumanji. For Ramji to actually come and be here in physical form. But what has been told here is, just look in your own antahkarana, in your own mind. He is seated there. He is there as an antaryami purusha. It is very easy to know that he is there. Let me give you a simple answer. I am not pointing to anyone. This is my past experience. From that I am telling, but it is very much relatable here. After eating 7th mendu vada or bonda, the one who tells you not to eat the 8th one is that antaryami purusha. When you know that you are doing the wrong thing, And the one who tells you this is the wrong thing, I am reminding you, do the right one, that is that Bhagwan. He is there. He is constantly reminding us not to not to pursue desires, not to pursue wishes. पर सुनता कौन है? Is it not? That needs vairagya. That needs that mental strength, fortitude. Anyways, Hridaya Pundarike Prakashamanam Vasudevam. That Vasudeva, that Bhagwan, who is residing in my own heart, in my antahkarana, stavaihi gunasankirtana lakshanaihi stutibhihi. Stavaihi, by different stotra, by different stuti, praise. Gunasankirtana lakshanaihi. And what are the lakshana? What should that stotra have? Guna and lakshana. His qualities and his lakshana, the indicators, the pointers, that which point me towards the truth. Gunasankirtana lakshanihi stutibhihi sada archayet. The one who worships all the time, sada. Satkara purva karmam satkara purvakam archanam karoti manushyaha. With adara, with reverence, not because somebody has told or just because it is to be done. It's not a manual labor. It is done with his own heart and intentions. That is the greatest of dharma. And who is saying this? Bhagwan Bhishma. Why? Because this is going to lead us towards the path of moksha. Because dividho hi vaidiko dharmaha pravrutti lakshanaha nivrutti lakshanascha. The Vaidika dharma is of two types. One is pravrutti lakshana, one is nivrutti lakshana. The first one which we saw is pravrutti lakshana, which will prompt us to do karma and gain results in swargadika loka, etc. And the other one is towards the path of liberation, nivrutti, dropping everything and pursuing one and one alone, that is Bhagavan. Now, the second question is being answered. Paramam yo mahattejah, paramam yo mahattapah, paramam yo mahadbrahma, paramam yah parayanam. What was the second question? Second, kimbapyekam parayanam. Paramam yo mahattejah. Yah parama, mahat, the best. Mahatteja, teja, the Chaitanya. The one who is the illuminator of all. Paramam yo mahattapah, that which is the greatest of tapa. Tapata ajñapayati iti. Ya imam cha lokam cha paramam cha lokam sarvani cha bhutani yo antaraha yamayati. That is that tapa. Satapo tapyata, we have, but that meaning is different. It is different over here. The one residing in all people's heart controls everyone, that is Antaryami. That he is. That is the Parama Tapa. Paramam Tapah Tapata Ajñapayati. Tapate Ajñapayati. The one who Ajñapayati guides. That, or the one who residing in everyone's heart guides everyone, is that Paramam Tapa. Paramam yo Mahad Brahma. That who is the Parama Tapa, Parama Brahma. Which is that Brahma? Bhishasmad Vatah Pavate Bhisho Deti Suryaha. All Upanishadic descriptions they come. All devatas surrender to whom? All devatas surrender. Being afraid of whom? The wind the wind flows, the rivers run, and even the death is afraid of whom? That one. Mrityur yasyopasechanam. The one for whom death is like a pickle. Nothing. It's very small. Yah kaschit. Something very small, insignificant. He is the Parayanam. Paramam yah Parayanam. That is the greatest abode of all. Having answered all these, Bhishma comes to the first question. Kimekam Devatam Loke. What is that? One Devata. Pavitranam Pavitram Yo Mangalanam Cha Mangalam. Daivatam Devatanam Cha Bhutanam Yo Vyayah Pita. Nidhanam Bijam Avyayam. Pitahamasya Jagataha. All things, everything is pointing towards this thing alone. Pavitranam Pavitram, the one who is the auspicious in all auspiciousness. Mangalanam cha Mangalam, the one who is the Mangala in all Mangala. Daivatam Devatanancha, the one who is the Daivata, the God of all gods, rather than Devata, Deva of all Devatas. Bhutanam yo avyayaha pita. For all jiva, the one who is Pita, the Father who is avyaya, unchanging. He is the one, the eternal. All this is pointing towards one and one thing alone, that is Bhagwan Vishnu, Paramatma, Brahman. That is the abode, that is the Devata of this Vishnu Sahasranama. Quickly going through all 6 questions. Kimekam Devatam Loke. What is that greatest Lord, that greatest Ishvara in the world? He who sanctifies all sanctifying. Let us slightly change Pavitranam Pavitram Mangalanam Mangalam. The one who is the very sanctity of which is sanctifying. The one who is most auspicious, that because of him all auspicious things become auspicious. The one who is the Ishvara of all Devatas. The one who is that eternal Pita, Father, the origin of all and the Pita of all the Jiva, all that has been born in this world. Now this word Bhuta, Bhutanam Yo Vyayah Pita. Sometimes the word Bhuta is slightly deceiving. Why? Because Bhuta is not only referring to living things but also inanimate objects. Bhuta, whatever that has been created, whatever that is existing. To all that, the one who is Pita, as in origin, the source, he is that Ekam Devatam. What is the second one? Second one was Kim Vapyekam Parayanam Paramam Yo Mahattejaha, the one who is the self-effulgent principle, self-knowledge principle, who is the controller of all, the one who is all-pervading, supreme being, that Brahman, that alone is Paramam Parayanam, the greatest shelter, refuge. Stuantam kam kamarchantah prapnuyur manava shubham. Stuantam kam prapnuyur manava shubham jagat prabhum, the one who is the Prabhu, Supreme Purusha, the greatest Purusha, Purushottama, the Stuan Nama Sahasrena Purushan Satatothitaha, the doing the stuti of whom by Sahasra Nama, that Purusha. Kamarchantam prapnuyur manava shubham, by doing the worship of whom, Tameva charchayan nityam, referring to the earlier verse again, by meditating upon, by worshipping and by prostrating that same Purusha, one can gain all auspiciousness and sarva dukkhati go bhavet, can give up, can surpass all sorrows. Ko dharmas sarva dharmanam bhavatah paramo mataha kim japan muchyate bandhur kim japan muchyate jantur janma samsara bandhanat, for which the answer was given that one एष मे सर्वधर्माणां धर्मोऽधिकतमो मतः यद्भक्त्या पुंडरीकाक्षं स्तवैरर्चेन् नरस्तदा. This is the dharma, greatest dharma amongst all dharmas. Worship that Bhagavan Vishnu, that Paramapurusha, and do stuti, praise, do upasana of that Paramapurusha. That is the best upasana. In other simple words, Nivrutti dharma is the greatest dharma of all. Trying to gain moksha, that is the greatest dharma of all. And what is the best possible way? Do stuti, puja, archa of Bhagavan Vishnu. Then what is the simplest method? Bhishmaji smiled. He said, that is what I am going to tell, that's what I am going to explain. And then he starts explaining the Vishnu Sahasranama Stotra. Vishnu Sahasranama Stotra has very beautiful bhashya written by Adi Shankaracharya ji. After the whole teaching was over, his guru Govinda Bhagavad Padacharya ji wanted to test. So he asked Bhashyakar Adi Shankaracharya ji to write bhashya on Vishnu Sahasranama. And when he saw that Vishnu Sahasranama bhashya, Govinda Bhagavad Padacharya ji was delighted and he said, now start writing bhashya on all the other Upanishads, all 10 Upanishads, all Upanishads in short. And start teaching this Vedanta, this Shastra to all others. This, if you look at the bhashya, there are very beautiful points throughout. There are like gems. The point where I am going is, let me just give you few glimpses. The word Govinda, it comes in two places in Vishnu Sahasranama. Maheshwaso Mahibharta Srinivasa Satangatihi Aniruddha Suranando Govindo Govidampatihi. There Govinda has come. And later, Mahavaraho Govinda Sushena Kanakangadi, Govinda has come in two places. But Bhagwan Bhashyakara has so many words to spare while explaining the name Govinda. Govinda, two words. Now, when Bhagwan Bhashyakara starts explaining this word, yes, we have time. So, I was afraid I might not get enough time for this word, but anyways, what he says is, now it's my time to shine. Because see, whenever someone has something to express and he gets the opportunity and all the instruments are available to him, the poetry, the beauty flows out. Of course, there is beauty in bhashya, prasanna mati gambhiram. That's how the Bhagwan Bhashyakara's bhashya has been described. It is prasanna, it is very delighting. At the same time, it is very much deep and profound. You don't feel tired while reading bhashya. But yet, to grasp the meaning in detail, it will take time. But if you really want to look at the beauty of Bhagwan Adi Shankaracharya's teaching, you should look at his independent works such as Dakshinamurti Stotra, Viveka Chudamani, etc. There the poetry flows out because he has opportunity to go beyond. With bhashya, you have to stick to certain rules, certain structure, and you are bound by that structure. So you are limited in expressing, even though you want to express. Here, he just goes on explaining, and while explaining Govinda, he says, now look at how much Bhagwan Bhashyakara had studied, he knew. Nashtam vai dharinim purvam अविन्दद्यत् गुहागतां गोविंद इति तेनाहं देवैर्वाग्भिरभिष्टुतः. In Mahabharata, this quotation comes. From Mahabharata, Bhagwan Bhashyakara is reiterating. He is saying this again. Nashtam vai dharinim purvam. The word, there are two words in Govinda, go and vinda. Go, the word has one meaning as dharani, Prithvi. Nashtam vai dharinim purvam. In the olden days, at that time, the earth, Nashtam, it was destroyed, it was taken away into Patala. Avindad yad guhagatam, but the one who brought that back up, Avinda, so that Vinda has come. If you take go Avinda, that Akara, because of Pura Rupa Sandhi, will be written as Avagraha. But that writing of Avagraha has come later in script. So Govinda, Go Prithvi, Avinda, the one who brought back Prithvi is Govinda. So now with Govinda, who is he? Which avatara? Varaha avatar. That one is Govinda. And that's why all devatas called you Govinda. Now in Harivansha Purana, Aham kilendro devanam tvam gavam indratam gataha Govinda iti lokastvam stoshyanti bhuvi shashvatam. Aham kila indro devanam. Indra, the king of devatas. I am the king of all devatas. But tvam gavam indratam gataha. You became the king of all cow herds. So go Indra, and there is a sandhi in Sanskrit. That's why it becomes go ravang. Go has ava adesha. And then it becomes Govinda. Govinda iti tenaham. Govinda iti lokastam stoshyanti bhuvi shashvatam. Now because you have become the king of all cow herds, people will call you, you will be known as Govinda. Who is this Govinda? Krishna. Bhagwan Bhashyakara says, no, I am not yet finished. He says, Gauresha tu yato vani tam cha vindayate bhavan Govindastu tato deva munibhi kathyate bhavan. Go as in Vani. That Vani, tam cha vindayate bhavan. You get this Vani to us. You make that Vani available to us. That's why Govindastu tato deva munibhi kathyate bhavan. That's why all Rishi Muni, they call you Govinda. Why? Because even though the speech is there, but if that Chaitanya of Bhagwan is not there, will we be able to speak? No. That because the one who is, the one in whose presence the speech is able to function, that is Govinda. Who is this Govinda? Brahman. So one Govinda is Varaha, another one Bhagwan Krishna, and then again Govinda Parameshwar, Paramatma. Then Mahavaraho Govindaha. There he says, Gobhihi Vanibhihi Vindate Vetti Vedanta Vakyaihi Va Govindaha. Gobhihi Vanibhi. Go is Vani. And the go is word also used for Vedas. Vedaihi Vedanta Vakyaihi. The one Vindate. The one who can be gained by Vedanta Vakya. Vedanta Vakya, Mahavakya. The one who can be gained, Vinda, known. The one who can be known by Vedanta Vakya is Govinda. Again, Brahman. Now, when all these meanings are imbibed in our mind, we are not finished with the meanings of Govinda, but when all these meanings are there in our heart, just by that one word, Govinda. If the form of Ishvara comes in front of our eyes, maybe Varaha or maybe Krishna, it will be Upasana. But if Brahman comes, it will be Nididhyasana. But for that, we need to repeatedly dwell and think upon the meanings of these words. Govinda is just a small example. Again, further he says, Gobhireva yato vedyo Govinda samudartaha. In Vishnu Talaka it is said, by Vani alone, by Vedanta Vakya alone, you can be gained. That's why you are called Govinda. This is the beauty of Vishnu Sahasranama. There are so many gems, there are so many things in this, in Bhashya. That's why I would urge just to go through Bhashya. Even if you take Gita Press book and read the Hindi translation, it is very beautiful. But when you understand the profound meaning behind each and every word, then the result of chanting Vishnu Sahasranama is multiplied. But even though, yes, of course we are going to chant Vishnu Sahasranama because we have been chanting, but now the purpose in our heart should be the answers given to the questions. Why should I chant? Because it is the best possible way, it is the method by which I can gain that Paramasthana abode, Nidhanam, Paramanidhana, the greatest shelter. This is the mode by which I can worship Bhagavan. He is the ordiner, controller of all, and this is the best method that has been given to me. Thus, I must pray to him. Itidam, in the end now, he says, Itidam kirtaniyasya keshavasya mahatmanah namnam sahasra divyanam asheshena prakirtitam. And what will be the result? Yah idam shrunuyan nityam yaschapi parikirtayet nashubham prapnuyat kinchit somutre hacha manavaha. The one, ya idam shrunuyat, the one even who listens all the time. Yaschapi parikirtayet, the one who sings, the one who speaks, the one who chants. Paraloka praptasyapi yayati nahushadivat Ashubha praptya bhavam suchayitum amutra ityuktam. Even though other kings, even though they went to higher abodes, but that was not the final goal. Ashubham naiva nashubham prapnuyat kinchit. He will not gain any ashubha, whether here or in the higher worlds. Why is Bhagavan saying in this way? In Jnaneshwari, in Bhagavad Gita itself, Bhagavan says that those people who are worshipping the other devata rather than worshipping me, or those who give me up and start worshipping all other devata or with lower desires, are committing a big mistake, for which very beautiful explanation has been given by Sant Jnaneshwarji Maharaj in Jnaneshwari. He says, Papatmake pape naraka jaije, Punyatmake pape swarga jaije, Yene mate pavije te shuddha punya. There is papa and there is punya. But it is not just like that. There is one papa which has papa in its root. And by committing that papa, you will go to Naraka. There is papa which has punya in its root. By doing that punyatmaka papa, you will go to Swarga. So going to Swarga Loka is also papa. But that by which you will come to me, you will go to Bhagavan, that is the Shuddha Punya, that is the real Punya. And why is it happening? Because we are giving up Bhagavan and running after wishes. That's why it is said, not ashubham prapniyat kinchit. He will not gain any ashubha. That means he will reach Bhagwan and not Swarga. Vedanta go brahmanasyat kshatriyo vijay bhavet vaishyo dhan samruddhasyat shudras sukhamavapnuyat. Everybody will get all that he desires in this life, and not just that, the life hereafter. Then all dharmarthi prapnya dharmi etc. everything has been said. Bhaktiman yasadato thita shuchihi, those are irrelevant. But the one who chants this will gain Lakshmi, Dhairya, Smriti and Kirti, everything. In other words, the one who chants Vishnu Sahasranama, he will not gain happiness but in this life itself, but will gain moksha later. So with this, I pray by using all these stotra. We have taken the overview of Rama Raksha, Hanuman Chalisa and Vishnu Sahasranama. But I pray to Bhagavan that this prompts us to take up deeper study of all these stotra, and may chanting of this stotra, worshipping of Bhagavan through this stotra, gives us moksha in this life itself, and not just that. Why should ask only for moksha? Let us ask for happiness here itself, and not worldly happiness, but happiness in the form of Jivan Mukti. So I pray to Bhagavan that may we all gain that eternal happiness here and hereafter. I am not wishing for everybody's death. So don't be so serious, and then let us be happy. But anyways, so I pray to Bhagavan, whatever that I understood, whatever that was in my capacity, I explained. Whatever that I have explained, whatever that is right in throughout that explanation is the grace of Bhagavan, Ishvara and Guru Parampara. If there are certain mistakes that have been committed while explanation, those are the shortcomings of my intellect, of my own. May you forgive those with open mind, and with this I give this service, or I give this explanation, I offer this service at the lotus feet of Bhagavan, and conclude my teaching or my kartavya duty over here. Om asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma amritangamaya. Om shanti shanti shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.